Hi, babies. Sorry for the shakeage. Hi, thank you for joining me for another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. Hi, my name is Candace. Bats eyelashes. Seductively. I have something in my eye. No, joking. I am your host. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I really appreciate it. In today's episode, I'm going to try not to scare the rabbit to death. In today's episode, we are going to be doing a long-awaited review. I'm drowning in reviews. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible because I'm drowning in reviews and I need to crank out as many today as possible. In today's review, we're going to be talking about The Heir by Sophie Lark. This is book 1 in her Kingmaker series, and this is, let's see if I can concisely put this. This is second generation brutal birthright. Is that, yeah? So this is the story of Leo Gallo, who is the son of Sebastian Gallo and, the fuck was her name? Yelena Yennin. Was that her name? I think. Yes? I think. Anyway, fuck it. I can't remember. So, you know my brain is trash. Anyway, you guys remember her name because you're better fans than I am. So, this is their son. This highlighted piece of man meat right here. That was also my doing, by the way. I did that while trying to take the thumbnail. That's my makeup. Yes, so this is book 1 in the Kingmaker series. Technically, this series has 4 books. However, from what I've heard, this series is intertwined with some like runoff books that need to be read in a certain order in order to cohesively flow together. And if I can find the family tree of books, for lack of a better term, I will insert it here, okay? And I'll put the credit to whoever made that because that's so fucking helpful. I love it when people do that. So we will be talking about this book today, kids. I'm gonna try and be so concise and like super quick with this because, like I said, I have many reviews to get through. And I know I tend to go off on tangents, which I'm gonna try my best not to do today. Will we succeed? You know me. You know me. Okay, so the deets for the book. You can currently, all of these books in this series are free to read with Kindle Unlimited. If you don't know what Kindle Unlimited is, go to Amazon and look it up. I talk about it in every video. Go watch one of my other videos and it will explain it to you. I don't have time. I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry. Free to read with KU. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, it's $4.99. If you want this chunky, beautiful specimen of man, look how thick this book is. If you want this trade paperback for your very own, you can get it for the cheap price of $16.99. That's a bargain, yo. That's a bargain for a book this size. According to Amazon, and you know, I'm back on my ish. According to Amazon, this book has 528 pages. That's a fat book. How many pages did we get? How many pages did we get? We actually got 506. And just for your FYI, if you're going to try and come for me, I make sure every single time that when I click on Amazon and I go on the link, that I make sure to choose the option that says trade paperback, and that I'm not actually looking at the page number for the Kindle edition. I'm looking at the page number for the trade paperback. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing, okay? So, you promised me 528, and I got 506. So according to maths, which I hate doing, you owe me 22 pages. Is that math right? 22 pages? Is there an epilogue somewhere that I missed? Amazon? I feel like Stewie and Family Guy. Did we forget an Amazon? Did we get an epilogue? Where's my epilogue? Okay. You know what you did. You know what you did. Also, and I'm glad, in a way, fate conspired to keep me from doing this review until now, so that I could tell you that these books in the series were just released with alternate, more discreet, for your viewing pleasure, for your reading in public pleasure, covers, which I will insert here, that you can get now, available on Amazon as well. Well, are they available on Amazon? I don't know. If they're not, then I'll link Sophie's website down below as well, and you can probably get them from there. I don't know. I'm not Nix the Ever-Knowing. I don't know. But I'll link them down below wherever you can buy them. I'll link them. Don't worry, I got you. I got you. Okay? But the alternate covers are designed by one of Sophie's peoples that she loves, one of her artistic friends. Not me, obviously. I was not consulted on this. I'm not salty about it. JK. But yeah, so alternate covers for all of these books. Delish. So yeah. Now, I will read you guys a blurb, and then I'll bring it up, and then I'll give you my spiel, and then you can go. Okay. So, the blurb. I'm gonna read from the back of the book, by the way. I didn't bring my deet sheet. I don't do that anymore. I still have to print out the blurb for half of these books because I read them on my Kindle. What are you gonna do? But not today because I have the book. So I'm gonna read from the back. So, I'd go anywhere for her. I already like the way that sounds. Even to Kingmaker's, the most brutal college in the world, where mafia heirs are trained to control, dominate, infiltrate, and kill. I followed Annnnnd because she's my best friend. I've always been right by her side. She needs me to protect her, especially from Dean Yenin, a Bratva heir with a lethal grudge. He plans to take everything from me, starting with Annnnnd. Okay. Okay. So, I'm going to put the book down because it weighs 500 pounds. Legit. So, this book, in book 2, I'm pretty sure, I was told. I haven't gotten there yet because I'm a loser and I've gotten sidetracked with other series. This book has 3 POVs. Okay, first of all, Sophie, what are you doing to me? My brain can barely keep up with 2 POVs, male and female characters. Like, 3 POVs? It's a love triangle between Leo Gallo, Annnnnd Wilk, and Dean Yenin. Yo, okay. Leo and Annnnnd were raised together. Leo is the one and only son of Sebastian Gallo, who is, if you remember from Brutal Birthright, Sebastian is now the leader of the Italian mafia, basically, of Chicago. Annnnnd is the daughter, not the only child, but the daughter, the beloved daughter of my baby. Oh God, my baby. Miko. Mikolaj Wilk and Nessa Griffin. She's a ballerina, just like her mommy. And Dean Yenin is the son of, what the fuck was his name? Adrian Yenin. And I can't remember his mother's name to save my life. She was the nurse that took care of Adrian in the hospital and subsequent like in-home care, like hospice, not hospice, but like in-home care when he was released from the hospital after he got burnt up to a crispy critter in the fire, the house fire that burned down the Gallo mansion at the end of the Brutal Birthright series. Do you remember that? Okay, cool. So now all of their kids are grown up. And by grown up, I mean they're graduating high school and they're going to college. They're not going to a regular college. They're going to Kingmaker's Academy, which is like, the way Sophie described it is, it's like Hogwarts on crack. And for mafia's, like the underworld's children, right? So essentially, they're going to be pitted against each other and raised in this environment for 4 years, teeming with rules and regulations that are basically barbaric. Like eye for an eye, life for a life type barbaric. And just made to deal with each other. And whatever happens, happens. There's allegedly rules, but come on, we know they're gonna get up to some shit, right? Okay, so Leo and Anna have grown up together their whole lives as like family, because Sebastian and Miko teamed up together at the end of Brutal Birthright series to take down the Yenins, the Bratva. And they toasted Adrian. Like they turned him into a cracker. Like they turned him into like a saltine, right? So he went off all by his lonesome and drug his crispy self off to Russia with his nursemaid, where he subsequently impregnated her. They had a kid and went into seclusion, and nobody ever heard from him again until now. So Sebastian and Miko have been thriving in Chicago, raising families together, Sunday dinners and outings and all this yada, 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 right? And, you know, they've grown up together as BFFs, Leo and Anna. As they got older, you know, obviously they start to see like, okay, well, Anna's getting boobs and, you know, Leo's becoming, you know, he's getting attention from other girls at school. And yeah, it makes me feel some kind of way. But no, it can't be because I find him attractive. It's got to be because I'm his best friend and he's giving them time and not me time. But I'm his best friend. I should be getting time, right? It has nothing to do with because I want his time for myself because I'm attracted to him. That would be outlandish, right? They get their acceptance letters from Kingmakers. And at first, Elena, Leo's mom, is like, no. She tells Sebastian he's not going because she knows what kind of school this is. And Sebastian's like, he's 18, we can't stop him. So eventually she gives in and she lets them go. So they're all basically getting on this big boat together. They know, Sebastian and Elena know, that Dean is going to be at Kingmaker. And they're like worried that he's going to try some shit. Sebastian is trying to placate her like, listen, there's rules there. this is the one place on earth that he's the safest, if we're being honest, because they deal with rule breaking in such a way, such a heavy-handed way, that there's no way that anyone can get away with anything crazy. If he was to go to a normal college, he'd be open to any of our enemies to snuff out. At Kingmaker's is literally located on like an island where it's like a castle type fortress place. And there's like a tiny little fishing village, and there's no way to get to it except for by like a big boat, and it's isolated from everything. Once they get out there, they can't get off the island until like the end of the year is over. There's a landline they can use. They're not allowed any electronic devices. There's no internet. There's no electricity. There's nothing. So he's like, he'll be fine. It's the safest place for him to go. Eventually she relents and they go. So Leo and Annnnnd, they get on the boat. When they're waiting in the little fishing village to get on the ferry thing or whatever that's going to take them, the boat that's going to take them to the actual fortress thing, they meet this other kid, Aries, who's like this huge hulking Greek kid, who you can clearly see comes from a super poor family, and he's getting picked on by a bunch of other snooty Russian bratva kids who also go to the school. They befriend him, which is super cute, and they make friends with him, and they like bring him into their little inner circle, which I really appreciated, and I like him. He's super nice. And then they board the boat. On the boat, Annnnnd is like chilling and taking a nap and whatever. Leo gets kind of like motion sickness a little bit, goes down, and is like meandering around, and he runs into none other than Annnnnd. Some words are exchanged. Dean insults his moms, and they get into a big ass fight on the boat, and fists start flying. The crew eventually breaks it up, but from that point on, they're like sworn enemies, fucked up. There's no way of anything, any kind of, hey, I know our parents have beef, but we don't need to have beef. Like, none of that is taking place here. Clearly, we're going to carry this grudge to the next generation. That's clear from the jump. So he goes back up to the deck where Annnnnd is taking a little sunbathing nap. And she looks at him and she goes, like, what the fuck happened to you? You've got like a busted lip. You're all messed up. And he's like, oh, just a little family squabble. I just met our cousin. And she's like, Dean, what the fuck? Yeah. So they get to the school. They're at school. Her first encounter with Dean is not much better. He sees Annnnnd is a dancer like her mom. She is a little bit macabre. She believes that she's very close with her father. She loves her mother very much, and she has a lot of her mother's traits when it comes to like ballet. Like she loves to dance, and she uses it as an outlet for like her emotions. But she's very close to her father, and she has been raised, because she's the oldest, she's been raised to take over for her family, regardless of her gender. So her Miko, there's a reason why Miko is my favorite character from the entire series. He's so, him being such a forward thinking and progressive person just lends more to his like deliciousness as a human being to me. Like, oh God, he's just so, he literally tells her, I don't care that you're a girl. You're my firstborn and my heir. You're going to take over for me when I retire or when I die. This will all be yours. And I have trained you and raised you with that in mind. And that's what he's done. He's taught her from a young age how she needs to behave, how to defend herself, how she needs to act in order to be a mafioso, for the Polish mafia. So Dean, when she gets to the island, and after they have like their initial like meet and greet with the teachers and all of that, and they're told the ground rules of where they can go and where they can't go, etc., etc. They basically have the run of the estate, as long as they don't get into trouble. But they don't have, like, obviously they don't have dancing facilities, because what underworld mafia boss do you know that needs a dancing facility? Nobody. But she needs that as like her workout, as her release for like her stress, as whatever. So she finds a place. She's looking for a place to dance. And she finds like an old, I think it's like a tennis court that she can dance at that nobody uses. And she goes there like early. And she's dancing. And Dean is out, I think like jogging or something. And he hears music. And even though they're not supposed to have electronic devices, she had brought with her a super old battery operated like radio. And he hears it, and he goes to investigate further, and he sees her. And of course, just like as you do, he's infatuated, and he watches her through like some bushes, like a little skeevy pervert. And he watches her dance, and he's immediately like attracted. And then she sees him, and before she can like attack him, basically like verbally, he runs off. Not runs off, but like walks off fast. She can't catch up. So she's like, oh, what a fucking creepo, right? So then she goes in, and she goes to the showers to take a shower, and she's like, this fucking guy, and she doesn't think anything else about it. She doesn't know who he is. He goes in, and he goes to take a shower. And I think you can see where I'm going with this. The doors to the showers are not properly labeled. So they're in she's in the shower, and he's in the shower. And they both go around a corner, and they bump into each other. And it turns out that he's in the wrong shower. He's in the women's shower. They argue over which shower is which, or who's in the wrong. And she's like, no, you're in the women's shower. And he's like, no, you're in the men's shower. This is after they basically collided with each other, and he's landed on top of her, stark naked. Yum. They have their little moment that neither one of them can stop thinking about for a hot minute. And then later on, she finds out who he is, and she's mortified. And then that kind of kicks off like a very embarrassed, awkward, shameful secret type situation. And for him, it's like well, we're not related by blood technically. So I'm even more interested. And for Leo, it's I can't believe this guy saw you naked. I'm furious and fuming. Not just at him, but at you, even though technically you didn't do anything wrong, but I'm still fucking pissed at you. And it's just, Leo is the type of character who's your typical doesn't know what he has until it's gone type character. And that's kind of exactly what happens in this situation. Leo takes for granted what is literally this close to his face throughout the entire book. Until it's literally snatched away from him by Dean. And then he's completely bereft through the entire second half of the book. And that's literally how most of the book is. Alternating POVs between these three characters of them, Leo being absolutely miserable once he realizes that not only has he lost Annnnnd as his friend, but he's also lost Annnnnd as his potential love interest because, oh shit, I think I have feelings for her. Now Annnnnd has realized that she has feelings for Leo, which, by the way, she realizes right around the time that she catches him getting a blowjob from another woman, which, P.S., technically turns out to not be actually his fault because Dean slipped him a fucking roofie at a party. So, Dean is a bad boy, y'all. Dean is a bad boy, okay? However, there's one scene, it literally hurts my heart to talk about, with Dean, where he's with Annnnnd, and this is after she agrees to go on a date with him, mostly because she's angry at Leo. But she agrees to go on a date with Dean because he's persistent and because she's mad at Leo. And he takes her somewhere where he thinks he's gonna get lucky. And there's candles and he's trying to be very romantic. He breaks into her dorm room to basically figure out what it is that she likes so that he can set the stage for the perfect date. And then he lights up he goes to this ice house, this old ice house that the place used to use. And he sets it up really nicely and he has candles everywhere and they're lit and it's very, very romantic. And then they start to make out. And they get into it. And then she pulls away and she's like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm not. I know that this is what you want, but you're not who I want. I can't help how I feel, and I want him. I don't want you. And oh God, it literally hurts me to think about. And he literally blows out the candles and he says, close your eyes and pretend I'm him. And when that scene happened, I cried. So oh my God, I can't even think about it. And in that moment, I knew, regardless of what happens in Dean's book, he can be the meanest motherfucker for the rest of the book and he'd still be my favorite character. I got a thing for bad boys with vulnerability. Bad boy, and then you sprinkle in a little bit of vulnerability and damage, and I'm putty in your hand, boy. That's me. That's me. You got me, boy. So that's essentially what happens. Now, throughout this entire book, there's centered around the whole book, there's this big competition going on. Every year the school holds a big competition. Think of it in terms of Hogwarts Goblet of Fire. And it's essentially, what is it? It's I wrote it down somewhere. It's it's the War of Four or something. The Quartum Bellum. It's the Quartum Bellum is what they call it. And it's essentially where you have all 4 of the grades compete against each other in this like massive competition. No freshman, no year of freshmen, or like no class of freshmen have won in like as long as anyone can remember. Each year has a captain chosen, like freshman, sophomore, junior, and seniors. There's one captain chosen from each year. Leo happens to be the captain that gets chosen for the freshman class, much to Dean's consternation. But by this point, whereas leading up to that, he was really gung-ho about it. He wanted to beat Dean out for that spot. At the point where he gets the captainship, at that point, it's very lackluster because by that time he's lost Anna and he's realized that he's fucked up. And he everything, nothing has meaning to him anymore. So he's absolutely miserable. And he's kind of just trudging through life the rest of the book. And he doesn't know that he was drugged when that whole blowjob situation happened. He thinks that he had just had too much to drink and he willfully cheated on her. Or they weren't a couple at the time, but he thinks that he willfully, prior to that incident happening, they had had like a tiny little come to Jesus moment where they had both admitted that there was something between them and they wanted to talk about it, discuss it further after the party. And then the blowjob situation happened. And so he's thinking he had too much to drink and he let that happen. So he's like plagued with guilt. She's thinking that he betrayed her. So he's just taking it as like his comeuppance, it's his fault that he did that. And so he's just miserable throughout the majority of the book. She's heartbroken throughout the majority of the book. And she's getting back at him by being with Dean. Dean is basically like just sitting back like Mr. Burnsing it. Like, But after the ice house incident, where he has his little moment, pretend I'm him, she seriously contemplates it for a second. And then she says, I can't do it. And she runs out. And after that, she just tells him point blank, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. I love him. I can't. And after that, all bets are off. And Dean officially loses his shit. And at that point, he starts actively plotting Leo's murder. He plans to do it during the last and final competition of the contest. The last bit of the competition, there's like a final trial where it involves Leo having to go underwater, like a scuba diver type situation with tanks. And Dean basically waits for him to go under and then follows him into the caverns where he has to go. And he slices the tube on his tanks, on his oxygen tanks. And he leaves him in there to drown, to like run out of air. And Anna, who is doing her own challenge, sees Dean entering the cave from where she is like higher up on a cliff. And she knows something is off. And instead of completing her challenge to win it for their year, she decides to forfeit what she's trying to do or risk them losing to go after Leo. And she goes down and she finds him and she helps get him out. And luckily, they make it back to where they need to be and they end up by the skin of their teeth, winning on behalf of the freshmen for the first time in ever. And shortly after that, they make their vows to each other that they love each other, etc., etc., etc. And they lived happily ever after, and except for Dean, who's now angrier than ever. And he's so mad to the point that he's going to shut down every emotion that he has in his body, except for rage. And God help us all, basically. So, yeah, that's basically the premise of the book. For the rating for the book, I gave it a 9.5. I really love the book. I really enjoyed the book. I am super excited to get into the next one, which is Miles's story. It's called The Rebel, and it is the story of Miles, who is Ada and Callum's son. Miles is a little bit of a bad boy himself. Miles is like the resident procurer of all things illegal on the island. So he's, if you imagine like Shawshank, he's like the Morgan Freeman of Shawshank of the island. So yeah, except for obviously really sexy and bad, just bad. But apparently he's holding a candle for somebody. And nobody knows what's up with that, so yeah. So yeah, so we'll get more into, I'll go into more detail in the next book about how it breaks down in terms of the classes and things like that at Kingmakers, like how there's 4 different classes of like when it comes to like sections and things like that, because they are divided into like sections when it comes to like heirs, enforcers, that kind of thing. And I'll go into a little bit more detail. I just didn't want this video to be an 1.5 hours long like they usually are, so you know. So yeah, I would highly recommend that you guys pick up this series. If you really want to though, I would start at the beginning with the Brutal Birthright series, just so that you have some backstory on the families themselves. And the first book in that series is Brutal Prince. So I would definitely recommend starting at the beginning. If it were me, my OCD will not allow for anything else. So I don't know how you guys are, but that's just me. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that you guys pick this up, or pick up these series in general. I love Sophie Lark, and I love everything that she writes. She literally cannot write a bad book, in my opinion. I said it, and I stand by it, okay? I really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, and you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members-only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. I'll link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And yeah, I think that's about it. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me for another video, and I will see you guys in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. Buongiorno, my little babies. So, doing the thumbnail for this one, I actually just got makeup all over the inside of my book. Candace, you fucking idiot, you. Did you expect anything less, though? I mean, did you? No. Okay, so, a brat for Heir with a lethal grudge. Lethal. Candace, get your shit together. You know what it is? I'm hard. I'm really parched. Oh, my mouth is dry. Okay. Goddamn. My nose is itching so bad from like all the freckles fluff that's like floating around in here. Go away, voicemail notification. Fuck off, please. Did I literally just give a somewhat concise review? even though I'm pretty sure that I was missing about 75% of the details of the book. Did I though? Did I actually give a decent review? I mean, like, some of these things you should know, and then some of them are just kind of like do you really need to know that Leo played basketball? I mean, that's not something you really need to know, do you? I mean, who cares? I don't care. Like, if I'm reading it, I don't care. I don't care that you won a basketball game in high school. I don't care, boy. I don't care about how you have sex. Did I say that out loud? Okay. The Heir is done. I'm not reviewing you because I hated you. I'm not reviewing you because you broke my heart. I will review you, but I don't think I have enough time because you were a lot. Okay. How long was that video? 50 minutes? Did it come in under an hour? Dear God, that was scary. I don't know if I could recreate that face if I tried. I love you guys, and I just cracked something in my neck when I did that. Ow. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I don't even know. I don't even know.